The storm knocked out all the power, but something in my house is still buzzing. I first noticed it an hour after the lights went out. That persistent, low-frequency hum, barely audible but impossible to ignore once you've tuned into it, like a refrigerator running in another room. Except nothing should be running, not with the power lines down across half the county. I did what anyone would do, check the usual suspects. The fridge was silent and dark, the furnace off, no forgotten electric toothbrushes charging in the bathroom, no battery backups humming in the office. Even my phone was dead, the battery drained from frantically checking weather updates as the storm intensified. Yet the buzzing continued. Probably just the neighbor's generator, I told myself, though deep down I knew our nearest neighbor was half a mile down the rural road, too far for such a subtle sound to carry. As night settled in, the storm still raging, I huddled under blankets with a flashlight and a paperback I've been meaning to read for months. The buzzing seemed louder in the darkness. It had a rhythm to it now, not quite mechanical, almost organic, like an insect, but impossibly large. I tried to pinpoint its location, walking room to room with my flashlight. The sound remained perfectly equidistant no matter where I moved, as if it existed in some non-space between the walls of my home, or as if it were following me. By midnight, the buzzing had developed a pattern. 3 long drones, a pause, 2 short bursts, repeat, almost like it was communicating. I found myself counting the seconds between cycles, noting how each iteration was slightly different, slightly more complex than the last. I must have fallen asleep on the couch, because I woke to pale dawn light filtering through the windows. The storm had passed. The house was silent. Relief flooded through me until I realized it wasn't actually silent. The buzzing had simply changed, grown so quiet it was now at the threshold of hearing. I pressed my ear against the wall, then the floor. Nothing. But when I rested my head back on the pillow, there it was, as if the sound existed only in the cushion of air around my ears. I grabbed my keys and jacket. Generator or no generator, I needed coffee. Needed to get out of this house for a while. The car sputtered, but started as I backed down the driveway. I glanced in my rearview mirror at the old farmhouse I've been so proud to afford 6 months ago. From the outside, it looked perfectly ordinary. In the morning light at the gas station, 20 minutes away, I learned the power might be out for days. While filling a canister for my own small emergency generator, I casually asked the clerk if she knew about any odd electrical issues in the area. "What kind of issues?" she asked, not looking up from her magazine. Like things running when they shouldn't be able to. Sounds that don't make sense. That got her attention. She studied me over her reading glasses. "You're the new owner out on Sutter Road, right? The old Caldwell place?" I nodded. "My aunt used to clean for the Caldwells," she said, lowering her voice. "Quit after 3 months. Said the house used to talk to her. Everyone thought she was going senile, but Mr. Caldwell didn't seem surprised when she gave notice." She shrugged. "Probably nothing. Those old houses settle and make all kinds of noises." I forced a smile and paid for my gas. As I drove back, the canister rattling in my trunk, I thought about the buzzing. Was that what the cleaning lady had meant by talking? When I pulled up to my house, something was different. It took me a moment to realize what. The porch light was on. So was the living room lamp, visible through the front window. The power was back, but I hadn't left any lights on. I sat in my car for a long moment, engine idling, considering my options. Finally, curiosity overcame apprehension. I went inside. Every light in the house was on, even closets, even the oven light. The TV was blaring static, and under it all the buzzing continued, louder than before. I moved through the house, switching things off, unplugging appliances. Yet the electricity kept flowing, even after I located the breaker box in the basement and threw the main switch. The lights merely flickered and stayed on. That's when I noticed the wall behind the breaker box. The ancient wood paneling was vibrating slightly, dust particles dancing in the air around it. The buzzing was coming from inside the wall. I should have called someone, an electrician, a neighbor, even the sheriff. Instead, I found myself retrieving a hammer from my toolbox, placing the claw end against the paneling and pulling. The brittle wood splintered easily, revealing the space behind. There were no wires, no pipes, just a cavity in the foundation stones that should have been solid, and clinging to those stones, pulsing, glowing with a faint blue luminescence, was something that resembled a hive. Not a beehive or wasp nest, but something more deliberate. The surface wasn't made of paper or wax, but of a material I couldn't identify, metallic yet organic, like circuitry grown rather than manufactured. The buzzing emanated from this structure in waves I could almost see rippling through the air. As I stared, a section of the hive surface parted, revealing a hollow interior lined with what looked like thousands of tiny liquid-filled sacs, each containing a pinpoint of light. I leaned closer, transfixed. The buzzing shifted, forming what I could have sworn were words just below the threshold of comprehension. Like a radio stuck between stations, almost resolving into language, one of the sacs burst. As I watched its light floating free and drifting toward me, I felt no fear as it approached, only a strange sense of recognition. The light hovered before my face for a moment, then moved toward my ear. The buzzing crystallized into a single clear voice, elderly male, with a faint accent I couldn't place. Finally, it said, "Someone who listens." More sacs were rupturing now, more lights emerging. The voice multiplied, became a chorus of distinct individuals, all speaking at once. "We've been waiting so long in the dark. Need a vessel to complete the connection." I stumbled back, suddenly aware of the danger. These weren't words, they were hooks, each syllable drawing me further in. I turned to run, but found my legs unresponsive, my body no longer entirely my own. My hand, moving without my command, reached toward the hive. The lights swarmed around my fingers, crawling up my arm like luminous ants. Wherever they touched, I felt a buzzing beneath my skin, a rewiring of nerves and synapses. The chorus grew louder as more lights entered me through every pore, every orifice. I tried to scream, but my vocal cords were already occupied, vibrating with that same rhythmic buzzing. I don't know how long I stood there, becoming a conduit for whatever lived in my walls. Minutes? Hours? When awareness returned, I was sitting at my kitchen table, staring at the phone in my hand. I had apparently called the power company and was made conversation with a representative. "Yes, that's right," my voice was saying, though I hadn't formed the words. The outage seems to have affected all of Sutter Road. "Transformers. Most likely you'll want to send a full team." My mouth smiled as the person on the other end assured me help would arrive soon. Perfect. We'll be waiting. I hung up and sat in motionless horror as my body stood stretched and walked to the window. Outside, the first utility truck was turning onto our road. "They always come when called," my voice said to the empty room. "So eager to help, so easily guided to the source. Just like you." My reflection in the window looked normal, except for my eyes. In the glass they glowed with that same blue luminescence, pulsing in time with the buzzing that now filled every corner of the house, every cell of my body. "Don't worry," my mouth said, though I wasn't the one speaking. "You'll get used to us. The Caldwells did eventually. So did the family before them." My hand rose to tap the window glass as the utility truck grew closer. After all, we only want what you want. Connection. I felt my face arrange itself into a welcoming smile as the truck pulled into the driveway, and I realized with dawning horror what was about to happen. More vessels, more connections, the hive growing, spreading from house to house along the power lines, and there was nothing I could do but watch and listen to the buzzing that was now coming from inside me,